going to be strengthening everything in our bodies. We're going to be doing cardio, we're going to be doing hip strengthening, core strengthening, arms, forearms, everything. You're going to feel so worked out after today's session. I'm going to have you start with the warm-up. We're going to be doing jumping jacks. So you're going to start with your legs together, your arms down by your side. You're going to bring your arms overhead like this, and then legs apart, and then back down. And we're going to go with jumping jacks for 1 whole minute. So I'll get the timer going. You can see the clock right there. Here we go for 1 minute of jumping jacks. And as you're doing these jumping jacks, make sure you have a soft bend in your knees. If you start having any knee pain or back pain, then that means that something isn't quite right about this movement. So common causes of knee pain could be if you don't have a soft bend in the knees. Common cause of back pain with this exercise is if you're really hyperextending your back like that. So you want to make sure you keep more of a neutral spine as you're doing this. Also, you're trying to keep your arms as far back as you can, so not letting the arms come forward like that. You want to keep your arms back. And also your head should stay back as well. Good job, guys. Another 10 seconds left. Should feel our heart rates increasing, breathing increasing. So the next one we're going to do is have your feet together, and then you're going to jump from one side to the other side, back and forth. And if you need to or you want to, you can place a towel in between your feet so you have a target to jump over. But that just adds a little bit of interest and fun, so it's up to you if you want the towel. Otherwise, you don't have to use the towel. We're going to go for 1 minute. Here we go. So your upper body stays in mostly one position. Your legs are moving side to side. So if you guys remember from previous lessons, tennis is 90% lateral motion. So doing this exercise, you're going side to side. So you're strengthening your hips and your legs. Really good for tennis. Remember to keep your head back, shoulders down and back too. I don't want you to be sticking your shin forward like that. Keeping your head back the whole time. And shoulders too. You should be squeezing your shoulders together, tightening your abs. Everything should be tight, tight, tight. Good job, guys. Almost done. All right. So next one is single leg hops. So we're strengthening your calves, your hips, and your core. So again, you can use a towel if you want as a target, or you don't have to, and then you're just going to bring one leg up and then hop from side to side, like that. So here we go for 1 minute. A lot of cardio, jumping, and leg strengthening for explosive power during today's session. If you keep up these exercises, tennis is going to be no problem. Tennis will be so easy if you're able to keep up with these. You should feel burn in your calf muscles. You want to keep your foot as straight as you can. Feel it burn in your hips as well. Good job. You need to take a break, that's okay. But try to push yourself to do the whole minute. All right, so now we'll do the other leg. Here we go. You should feel your core engaged too, because you're having to balance on one foot. Everything should be tight. Head should be back, not forward. Shoulders back. Slight bend in the knees. Good Good job. This also teaches your body to tolerate compressive loads. Alright, awesome job. So next what we're going to be doing is standing kicks. So you're going to first bring your knee up, and then you're going to kick your leg out, bend your knee, bring out to the side, kick out to the side, bend your knee, back, and kick. So knee bend up, kick, out to the side, kick, and back, kick. All right, we'll go for 1 minute on one leg. For this one, you really have to focus on your balance. Another important skill for daily life and tennis is being able to balance. You're challenging your proprioception, which is where your body is in space, as you have to recalibrate your balance every time you move your leg. And if you're on a soft or squishy surface, like I'm on a yoga mat, it's a little harder, because you're also challenging your somatosensory system, which is the system that sends input from your touch receptors in your foot up to your brain. Okay, we'll do the other side. You want to keep your hips as level as possible. If you're having trouble balancing, you can always hang onto the wall or hang onto a chair, but if you can, try not to hang on anything. Really challenge yourself. These aren't easy, so you're doing great. As long as you try, that's what matters. Again, you shouldn't feel any back pain. If you're feeling the back pain, then remember to keep a neutral spine, not arching your back. Great job. Okay, so next one, you're going to grab either a pillow or a squishy ball, or if you don't have those things, then you can do it without any squishy ball or pillow. But if you have one, you're going to just hold it underneath your knee and then bring your knee up to the side and back. So it's like what we just did, but now you're really squeezing your glutes and your hamstrings. So front, side, and back. And we'll go for 1 minute. Here we go. Tennis is a full body sport. That's why we're doing a little bit of everything today. Cardio, balance, and full body strengthening. Front, side, and back. Front, side, and back. Front, side, and back, front, side, and back, front, and we are done with that side. So we'll do the other side. Okay, front, side, and back. Remember to squeeze your core, side, back. And don't let your head come forward. Keep your head back, shoulders back, back, front, side, back, front, side, back, front, side, back. Yeah, these exercises are going to make tennis so much easier for you to do. Front, side, back, front, side, back, front, side, back, and front, side, and back. All right, great job. So next one, you're going to do toy soldiers, these are called. So for these ones, you're going to have your arms straight out in front of you. Make sure you're not protracting your shoulders. That's when you push your shoulders forward. You want to keep your shoulders down and back. And then you're just going to kick one leg up at a time for these. So you're lengthening your hamstrings for this exercise as well as engaging your core. So we're going to do toy soldiers for 1 minute. Here we go. Make sure you keep your head back still. And legs as straight as you can. If you can't kick all the way up to your hands, that's okay. You can just kick a little bit. As long as you feel a stretch in your hamstrings as well as core engagement. Got 30 seconds left. You're also challenging your balance as well with this exercise. Make sure you're kicking straight up and that your knees are facing towards the ceiling when you kick up. Almost done with this one. All right, awesome job. So next one, you can either do it without any resistance, or you can do it with dumbbells or a TheraBand. So for this one, you just stick your bottom backward. You want your knees directly over your feet and your back in a neutral position. Then you bring your arms straight out in front of you, and then you curl your wrists up like this and then to neutral. So it looks like that. So if you add resistance, you can do with the band. And you step on the band in the middle. And then just curl your wrists up. Or you can do with the dumbbells. Same position, squat, and curl upward like that. So whatever version you'd like to do, we're going to go for 1 minute. Here we go. And you should feel this in your hips and in your glutes and your core, not in your back. So like in previous sessions, if you bring your knees in front of you like that, that puts a lot of stress on your knees. So you want to keep your knees over your feet instead. You also don't want to be arching your back too much like that, because that puts a lot of strain on your back. So keeping more of a neutral spinal position. Keep curling those wrists upward. You should feel a burn on the backs of your forearms. If you want more resistance, you just come down to the 90-degree position, as long as you can keep that correct form. Okay, awesome job. So next one we're going to do is wrist flexion curls. So before you had your palms face down and were curling up, now you'll flip your palms face up and curl up so that the fronts of your forearms are getting the exercise. So what we'll do for this one is a wall sit at the same time. So if you have a wall, that's great. If you don't have a wall, then you can just do another squat. But if you have a wall sit looks like this. You basically come down onto the wall so that your knees are at 90 degrees. And then you just hold this wall sit position. And then you bring your wrist out in front of you and curl upward, either with no resistance or with the dumbbell. So we're going to hold either that wall sit position or another squat, for 1 minute. Here we go. And as you're doing the wall sit or the squat, again, make sure that your knees are directly over your feet, not coming in front of your toes. Also, your knees should be at 90 degrees. Or if it's too hard to have your knees at 90 degrees, you can come up a little bit, but you can try to be at the full 90 degrees. Your knees should be facing forward, not out or in. Super common to have knees come inward because then you're stressing your IT band instead of your gluteus medius. You want your gluteus medius to be activated. And to do that, you have to keep your knees straight in front. Again, you should feel the strengthening of the fronts of your forearms here. And you shouldn't be arching your back. You should be keeping your back flush with the wall. Hopefully you guys feel a burn. We're all done with a minute of the wall sit. That one's not easy. You guys did awesome. Okay. So the next one we're going to do is inchworms. So for inchworms, you're going to start standing and then walk down your legs. Come down to your feet if you have that range of motion. If you don't have that range of motion, you can start further out. And then you just walk your hands out into a plank. And make sure with the plank that your hips and your shoulders are on the same level. You don't want your hips drop like that. Keeping them on the same level. And then keeping your legs straight and walking them up towards your hands. And then walking your hands out your legs. Okay, so we'll go for 1 minute with that one. Here we go. Start from standing, walking down your legs, walking your hands out into plank, keeping your legs straight as you walk your feet in towards your hands, and then walk your hands up your legs. And if you had a lot of space or a whole tennis court, you could walk all the way across the tennis court with these inchworms. But since I'm guessing you guys are probably in your homes, we'll just be doing it in place. So you have to walk back in order to get back into position. Almost done. So this one's strengthening your shoulders, your core, your legs, also stretching your hamstrings and your back. This is a full body workout right here. Okay, great job. All right, so next one on the list is shoulder taps. So you can either do it on your hands and knees, which looks like this, and you tap your opposite shoulder with the opposite hand, or you can come up to full plank position and tap one hand at a time towards your shoulders. So it looks like this. So we'll go for 1 minute. Here we go. So either on your hands and knees, tapping your shoulders like this, or in that full plank position. And you want to make sure you tighten your abdominal muscles and that you're not letting your hips drop. And keep your hips up. And also your head should stay up. You shouldn't drop your head down. Everything should be tight. Your legs should be tight. Your abs should be tight. Make sure you're breathing too. If you need to come down to your hands and knees to take a break, that's totally okay. Just do your best. Should feel soreness and achiness, but no sharp pain. Great job. All right. Okay, so next one we're going to be doing bird dog. So for bird dog, you're on your hands and knees. And a few ways to do this, either you can do one arm at a time and then one leg at a time, like that. Or you can do opposite arm and leg straight in at the same time. That would be the more advanced version, like that. And you want to make sure your back stays flat, so not arching your back down or hunching or collapsing. So you want to imagine like you have a mug of hot coffee on your back, so try to keep your back as still as possible and as flat as possible. Okay, we'll go for 1 minute with bird dog. This one's a bit of a brain teaser. You want to make sure you're doing the opposite arm and leg. So you do the same arm and leg, you have to use other muscles to balance. So you want to do opposite arm and leg, so you're using the right muscles. We're trying to strengthen that internal weight belt, the transverse abdominis, which is so protective for daily activities and tennis. When you have a strong transverse abdominis, it really protects your back. So that's why I want you to be doing opposite arm and leg and not the same arm and leg. You want to keep your abdominal muscles tight. So you're doing this, make sure you're breathing. All right, awesome job with that one. And the next one we'll do is kneeling hip flexor stretch. And you can either pretend you have a towel in your hands and twist the imaginary towel like that, or you can grab an actual towel and be in that kneeling position. You want your front knee to be at 90 degrees and your back knee to be as far back as you're comfortable, and you should feel a stretch in the front of your back leg. So if you have your left leg back, you should feel a stretch in the front of your left leg here. Just make sure that front knee doesn't come in front of your foot, like that wouldn't be the correct form. You want to keep your knee at 90 degrees. Also making sure you're not really excessively arching your back. You want to keep more of a neutral back position. And then with the towel, just wringing out that towel like you're wringing out water. So here we go for 1 minute. As you're doing this, make sure you're not letting your head drop. You're going to keep your head back. You also want to keep an upright posture, not coming forward like that, because you're going to lose some of that stretch. We're stretching the hip flexors, because hip flexors kind of get so tight with daily activities because we do so much sitting in modern society. And when you sit, that decreases the angle, that makes this area tighter, so this stretch is elongating the front of your hips. Having relaxed hip flexors is really protective against developing lower back pain. You should feel a burn in your forearms as you do this. Okay, then we'll do the other side. Go for 1 more minute. We'll have one more stretch for you guys after this. You want to imagine like you have a tail and you're tucking the tail between your legs as you do this. That'll really put the stretch into the front of your hip and your hip flexors. There should be no sharp pain with this anywhere. If there's any sharp pain, then either decrease the motion you're doing with this, or make sure that your wrists are straight when you're doing this. Or if those fixes don't help the pain, then I'd say just hold the stretch and don't do the towel wringing. But hopefully you guys just feel soreness and no sharp pain. Okay, so last one on the list is this stretch. You're going to have your palms face down and then curl your wrist downward and then pull your hand like this so that it stretches the back of your forearm and the forearm extensors. And we'll just hold it for 30 seconds. So these forearm extensors, they're responsible for grip, because when you grip something, your wrist automatically comes up. So when you're holding a tennis racket, these muscles can get tight, so that's why we're stretching these out. These muscles also are responsible for tennis elbow, also called lateral epicondylitis, which is where, because they attach into the outside of your elbow, and so stretching these out, you guys switch sides. So stretching these out is really protective against developing that tennis elbow lateral epicondylitis. Hopefully you guys feel stretch all the way to the outside of your elbow. Okay, and then I'll have you flip your palm face up, and then you're going to pull your fingers this way, so now you're stretching the front of your forearm. And we'll go with this one for 30 seconds. So these ones, they also help with grip, but they are more responsible for what's called medial epicondylitis, which is golfer's elbow, which you can actually still develop with tennis, but less common than tennis elbow, of course. But these forearm flexors, they attach into the medial side of your epicondyle, which is on the inside of your elbow. So when you're stretching them, you should feel stretch all the way to the inside. And then I'll have you switch. We'll hold this for 30 seconds, and then we'll be all done for the day. Feels so good after all those exercises. Five seconds, almost done. All right, you guys just completed the next live class. Thank you so much for attending.